right, Jeep is packed. First Highland Games 2022. Let's hope I don't kill myself.
Yeah, the third one really. I might do two. I only two much.
Comes with the territory.
Less variability.
Yeah, hit the ground.
Guys on deck.
Woo!
Well, basically.
Yeah.
Let go right about. Good. Pardon? You moved from a good state to another good state. I live in Washington now, but the liberals love their guns. Nice, Eric. Nice, Eric.
Eric taking the place in 2 minutes.
All right, vertical.
Woo!
That is why Sheaf is the greatest event in the game. And anyone who says no is bad at Sheaf.
They don't do this as commonly in Scotland. The game's there. It was invented by farmers who wanted to throw hay up into the barns for 7 stories. So that's why you see us going higher and higher, as opposed to having a bigger barn is an advantage in life.
Eric, you got this.
Having a bigger barn is an advantage in life.
Choo!
There you go, bud. I got that drive up here, super dehydrated. I was miserable. Oh. Over that bar! Don't pass! Standing behind you. Go, bud! Get that up! Held on to it too long. Yep.
Come on, Eric! Let's go, Eric! Let's go! Just don't hurt yourself. That's all right. Slow down. Oh,
He's throw. There you go. All right. Wait for that. There you go. Nice. Yeah. Come on, Eric. Come on, Eric. Nice.
And it's like within, like she's, I don't.
Ryan, a break today. No. Caber's fun because it's so much technique and physics and strength and power.
Nice.
A lot of really strong guys.
Make sure it's at least 22 pounds. There we go. I'll go pick Joe's going to take extra as we can. Let's go now.
Yeah, dropped a little in deal. You feel it? Thumb down. So you're like really uncomfortable in here.
Push. Nice. Nice, Eric.
Start looking back here. Just for fun.
Nice. Throw it like a baseball. Get my voice down a little bit deeper. Last one, Eric. Last one, best one. Come on. Pop it. Do that spin.
Night, wait!
There you go. It's a new one on me.
Cheers. So, successfully completed my first Highland Games event. It went about as well as I expected. I got 12th place out of 12 people. And I was the smallest person on the field, not even the smallest man, just the smallest person in general. So yeah, lots of big, burly dudes, just muscle and weight for distance or for height. All the seasoned guys were super helpful with tips and what to expect and what to do, what not to do, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, overall it was a great day. Some things in training that I would probably do differently. Clean and jerk, snatch would be very beneficial for the Highland Games because there's a lot of explosive movements going on that day. You're throwing stuff. If you are planning on entering the Highland Games, first of all, definitely do it. It's a great time. Secondly, getting your hands on the proper implements is probably going to be pretty hard and very expensive. So what I did was kettlebell and the on-it mace. So this will act as your hammer.
I live in Washington now, but...
And this will act as your weight for distance and weight over bar. This actually helped out quite a bit. It's basically the same thing. It's a weight with a handle attached to it, and the same thing for this, weight with a handle attached to it. The difference is the grip is a lot bigger. That will be attached to the implements game day are much smaller, so it'll strengthen your grip, which I think is a good thing. You can find kettlebells anywhere. On-it maces on their website. I think there's probably other companies that make these, but they're pretty easy to find, whereas the actual Highland Games implements are not. Train at a park where other people are, because they're going to be looking at you like you're a weirdo, and to get over the nerves of game day, being out in the field in a kilt throwing stuff, you'll already be used to it. I would go to a park on lunch and throw these things shirtless in a kilt, and I got a lot of weird looks, and occasionally, a cool person would come up and be like, hey, what are you doing? And I would just tell them, hey, I'm training for the Highland Games. And they're like, oh, what's that? Or, oh, yeah, I've heard of that. And yeah, just start a dialogue. And people who ask questions are generally cooler about it than the people who like kind of are standoffish and looking at you like they should maybe call the police or maybe not. I never had the cops called on me, thankfully. But come game day, I knew there were, hundreds of people out there watching me or other people throw stuff. And like, I didn't mind because I was already used to that. On the flip side of that though, is it is a spectator event. So I kind of felt bad in the way that I was so used to people watching me that I just ignored. I felt like I ignored the crowd. But yeah, I feel like I should have engaged the crowd a little bit more. There was this big dude in the masters class who I think he set a world record or set his personal best record for sheaf, and he was just like loud and boisterous, and the crowd was laughing, and he was getting them involved, and it was great. Like you can hear him in the video when I'm doing my first attempt at sheaf. He starts yelling about how sheaf is the greatest event in the games, and if you disagree, then you're bad at sheaf, which is hilarious. But he was a showman for sure, and that's kind of one of the things I regret not doing was talking to the crowd, getting the crowd involved. Events that you probably won't do good at your first time. Do good? Do well? I don't know. Are sheaf, caber, maybe weight over bar if you're short and a lightweight like I am. The sheaf is just such a weird event. You're stabbing a 16-pound bag of hay with a pitchfork, and you're trying to fling it up over a bar. We started at 18 feet. Don't know why we started that high. I asked the judge, I was like, you mind if we start a little bit lower, like 5 feet? And he just looked at me like, no, man. Oh, which is another funny thing. They weighed me in when I got there to make sure I was under the 200-pound mark. Pretty obvious I'm under 200 pounds, but anyway, you're gonna need to bring a lot of stuff because it is a very, very long day. So I'm talking pop-up tent, cooler, chairs, snacks, drinks, water, obviously, sunscreen, hat and sunglasses, baby wipes. I mean, I don't know, there's gonna be porta potties, so probably hand sanitizer. Just all the things you would take on a camping trip, bring to the games. If you're going to film yourself, I would bring a tripod and a gimbal or some kind of tripod to mount the camera somewhere. I had my wife and my mom filming me, but what would happen is anyone who's not competing has to stay on the outside of the fence regardless. So they can't really get good angles from certain places. Like my mom was trying to get shots of me throwing the hammer, and she was over here and I was over here. What would happen is all the guys in my group would kind of crowd around me, and so she couldn't really like get a direct shot of me throwing the hammer. So I would say bring a tripod, a mount for your phone or camera, whatever, and mount it inside and with you. Like have it right next to you. I asked the judge if it was all right if I mounted, put my tripod right behind me as I was swinging the hammer, and he said, yeah, that's fine, but you're responsible for it, which, yeah, that's fine. I'm not gonna blame them if I break my own stuff. With that, set your shots up before your turn. So whoever's ahead of you, you guys will always go pretty much in the same pattern. Whoever goes ahead of you will always go ahead of you, and whoever goes after you will always go after you. When the guy ahead of you takes his turn, set up your camera as he's going, kind of like mark where he is and get your shot lined up. And then once he's done throwing, hit record, get in there, do your thing, throw the implement, and come back. But before you turn your camera off, wait for the judge to measure how far or how high or whatever, measure your throw, and then repeat it loudly back to your camera. Not necessarily at the camera, but somewhere in the vicinity where your camera will pick up the audio really good. That way you get your distance on camera. And two, if you hear the judge wrong, which you might, I actually did this, if you hear the judge wrong and you repeat the wrong number, he'll repeat the correct number back to you. I had that happen with the Braemar stone. I threw it my first throw and I thought he said 15 feet 3 inches. And he actually said 19 feet 3 inches. 15 3.5. Okay, now I gotta do that. Oh, 19 3.5. Oh, okay. So get in the habit of letting your camera record all the way until he's measured out your distance. Repeat the number he says out loud, and then stop your camera. That way, in post, you can be like, okay, cool, yeah, I threw 19 feet 3 inches or 38.5 or whatever. Get out of the way after that. You don't want to be wasting everyone's time setting up a cool shot, and then afterwards you're like standing in the way. Just, take your turn, get your shots you need to get, and then get out of the way for the next guy, because it is, like I said, it's a very long day. If you're short, like me, And light, like me, you are going to have a lot of downtime in the height events and caber. So sheaf, weight over bar, and caber, you're going to have all the downtime in the world because you have 3 attempts at every single event. And in those 3 events, you will get your 3 turns and they will be done. And then all the other guys who are seasoned or much larger than you will keep throwing that damn thing. And the higher it goes, and you'll have like half an hour of downtime in certain events. So that will be the time to go to the bathroom, grab beer, grab some food, just relax, kind of catch up with whoever's there to support you, and just take the time to kind of relax and enjoy the day. You're not really going to have a whole lot of time to go around to the vendors and enjoy some of the shows that are going on at the Highland Games, but it's a sacrifice you make for competing in the Highland Heavies. If you do have volunteers, thank them for grabbing the weight and bringing it to you, and also beat them halfway. Don't just stand there at the trig and just be like, all right, hurry up, come on, give me the weight. Like, don't do that. Be courteous. They're out there volunteering. Show some respect. Yeah, I definitely think I will be competing again next year. I don't think I'm gonna take it so serious that I travel around to compete in different, parts of the state or surrounding states. But yeah, every time it comes to my area, I'll definitely compete. It's good fun. You meet a lot of good people. And yeah, man, just if you're thinking about doing it, just sign up and go for it, man. It doesn't matter how bad you do. It doesn't matter really like how good you do. I mean, if you do great, then awesome. But everyone's there and everyone supports each other. It's a great environment, and yeah, cheers.